Good morning. Happy Monday. Here we are in slightly cooler weather this week. So I hope you're all doing well and keeping warm and buoyant mentally as well as physically. So yeah, welcome to the Monday meditation session. And thanks for being here. It's really nice to connect with all the occupiers of White City Place. So yeah, I do meditations every Monday, and each Monday we'll talk a little bit about a theme, and then I'll guide you through a meditation. But I really love to talk about various themes that come up, sometimes through talking to people, sometimes through research, and sometimes through my own practice. Because meditation is such a huge subject, and there are so many different ways to meditate. And we're really doing it to feel better about our lives, feel better mentally, and therefore physically. The two are linked. The mind and body are one, as opposed to two separate entities. So there's always something to talk about with meditation. And the reason that we do it, of course, is to feel better. And so there are tools through the meditation practice that we can then use outside. We've got to recognize when we might be acting a certain way, for example. And by meditating, we become more intuitive. We want to be more intuitive in our lives. We want to be more instinctive. Especially at the moment, there's such a after the Social Dilemma movie has become really big in recent weeks, is a really good time to talk about being more intuitive, because the more that artificial intelligence knows us, the more we need to know ourselves better. Because the way that we're going, artificial intelligence will actually know you better than you know yourself. But that's because artificial intelligence can only go on what we feed it. So that's another really great reason why we meditate, to understand what are we feeding ourselves. What emotions are we getting attached to? Are we being drawn into negative ruminating over anxiety, over a problem that we might have had recently about somebody that we've had an argument with, or some situation that we don't want to address? Or are we being really nostalgic and looking back to how things used to be and how great that was, and what a wonderful romantic relationship I once had, and why don't I have that again, or why don't I feel the same about this person? We get so caught up in our old stories that we become really closed. And when we're really closed, we're not open to new situations and evolving. And we don't live our best lives because we're getting stuck in the past. And when we're stuck, there's also a physical reaction to that. It's not just a mental idea of being stuck. When we're stuck physically, the chi in our body, the energy, doesn't move freely. So with meditation and breathing certain ways and doing some of the exercises that we do on this weekly program, we then take it outside, and we recognize when we're being pulled into those ruminations, thinking about a past event and not letting it go. So it's all about letting go. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that through our meditation today. But it's really about noticing, becoming the observer, becoming the third party to yourself that helps you step back and notice how you're being. We spend so much of our life being really, really embedded in our thoughts, our outward actions, our movements, the way that we walk down the street and think about other stuff without really taking in what we're doing. We're not really being present. We're constantly thinking in the past or the future. We're constantly thinking, we're either ruminating about something in the past, or it could be a nice memory, or we're thinking already about the future, whether it's short-term or long-term, whether it's forgetting to buy the milk and therefore you've got to do that when you turn around the next corner before the shop shuts, or what you're planning to do for Christmas, or, what's going to happen with COVID-19. We're constantly forward and back in our minds and not really being in the present. And the only time we can really kind of check in with how we are emotionally, or how we are living our optimal lives, is to be present in the present state. That's what we notice. That's what's going to educate ourselves on how to be. When we notice how we are reacting, then we can maybe respond in a better way. That's what meditation is about for me. It's about responding to life rather than reacting to situations in a knee-jerk way. So we learn to respond. So we'll do a little bit about being the observer in the meditation today and stepping back. But it's something to think about when you are going about your daily business. Just notice how you're being. When something comes up and you notice it. Let's just say you're walking down the street and you go past a house with a red door, for example. Instead of just walking down the street and noticing the house with the red door, you might suddenly think, oh, gosh, I remember when, I used to live in that apartment with, that boy or that girl, and it was such a good time. And I don't know what happened to that person. Where did they go? And before you know it, you're going to this whole narrative about where this person might be living, why they didn't reply to your last email, how you haven't been in contact for so long, why you don't feel that joy with anybody else in your life anymore. What did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? Oh, you can go on and on and on in these ruminations. And you've walked down the street and you've missed it. Like, you've missed the present moment. You weren't there. Instead of just walking past the house and going, that's a really nice house with the red door, and moving on. If maybe you'll think, oh, I used to have a flat with a nice red door. Oh, that was that lovely person. Even if you get to that stage, then just let it go. Be back in the present moment. Notice what you're observing as you walk down the street, and just don't get attached to these past thoughts or future thoughts. And this is the same in the meditation practice. When you are trying to meditate, and I know this is a big classic setback for most people when they're trying to meditate, thoughts come in. And we get annoyed that thoughts are coming in. That's all part of the meditation. When you have a thought coming into your mind and you notice it, and this is what I was talking about a minute ago, outside of meditation, when you notice whether you're having a particular thought, ruminating over something, or, the story about the red door, when you notice and you go, oh, hang on, there I am. I'm just about to get stuck in this narrative. I'm going to let it go. It's the same when you're sitting meditating. A thought comes in and you go, it's all right. I'm supposed to be meditating. I can let the thought go. I can pick it up later. It's that noticing. That is the meditation. That's part of it. That's what you are working on. You are working on stepping outside of yourself and noticing as though you were a third party to yourself. Stepping back, you're noticing how you reacted. Instead of being so in the moment, you're not even aware of how you are reacting. You see, there's a slight difference. It's kind of like a pause. And I guess with my idea of responding rather than reacting, as a incentive to meditate, it's kind of what I mean. It's a gap. It's taking some time to notice and then go, okay, there's a better way of responding. I'm not going to be so caught in what I've just seen, or this energy in the room, or whatever it might be, this argument. I'm not going to be so caught in it that I can't stay centered and step back and see it from a different angle, different point of view. I hope that makes some kind of sense for you. And it is a practice. And it's so liberating when you do discover that you can step back and view yourself in this way. Because emotions are just objects. Look at emotions as objects. Look at thoughts as objects, because you can still put them down. You can put them away, right? Even though they're in your mind, you don't have to think of them as some kind of ethereal lack of control or something that's taking you over, or even that they're real, because the past isn't real, because it's only your perception, your memory of the past events that make that real to you. But then it's not real because it hasn't really happened. Nobody else has got that memory the way you have it. And in the same way, the future isn't real because it hasn't happened yet. That doesn't mean that the past is real because it's happened. The past is just a memory. And you can change that memory. You know how sometimes people don't remember things in the same way as you might. You might have gone to see a movie together with somebody, and they come out and they've got a completely different memory of that movie than you did. So who's right? Who's wrong? Neither of you. It's just that that's not real anymore. It's not real. In the same way, if you were dreading something, say you had an interview or an argument coming up, or you had to do something that you were really nervous about, maybe standing up in front of people, and you were dreading it. You were absolutely dreading it. That dread is not real. It's only what you decide to bring into your consciousness. If you drop down dead tomorrow, I hope you don't, but if you did, would that dread exist? No, because it was in your head. You know, it's not real. So if you're alive and you've got the dread in you, it's not real. It's just what you'll make it. You're bringing it in. It's an object. Look at it as this object that you can decide to keep or throw away. All right, so we're going to get started. One thing I'd like to also point out is that when you start to meditate, even seasoned meditators take a little time to get into their meditation. So expect nothing. Allow yourself just to be, and think about a nice analogy I like to use is a glitter jar. So if you had a jar of water and you poured glitter into the water and the lid was on tight and you shook it really, really heavy, you would see all the glitter swirling around, all those little fragments of glitter swirling around the jar. And then it would just swirl, 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 swirl really, really, really fast. And then slowly that swirling would start to slow down. Now, all those little bits of glitter, imagine that they are your thoughts. And they're so big at the beginning. And that's just like it is when you sit down to meditate at the beginning. And then slowly they start to slow down. And the number starts to drop as well. So if there were like thousands of thoughts, it's just then hundreds. And then slowly those thoughts just kind of filter down slowly, slowly to the bottom of the jar. And you'll find that mentally, all the glitters come to the bottom of the jar and it creates this lovely clear space of water. There might be a few little thoughts on the top, and that's fine because you're meditating and you notice those thoughts, but you just don't get attached to them. You let them go. So you can think about your glitter jar if you're sitting there thinking, it's not happening, I'm really getting fed up waiting to meditate. Don't ever get to that point. Just be and show up and allow yourself the time, okay? So let's begin. So just make sure you're nice and comfortable and close your eyes. Just take some time to notice. What are you noticing? So it could be the way that you're sitting. It could be that you're thinking about something else and you suddenly notice, oh, hang on, I'm meant to be sitting meditating, and you notice that. There might be some tightness in your body somewhere that you can feel. You might be aware of some disturbance in your space. Maybe someone that you share your space with might be moving around, and that might distract you a little bit. And then just notice your breath. I don't want you to breathe a certain way. I don't want you to change anything at all, because the way you're breathing right now is your natural state. So you are just observing your natural way of breathing without having to think about it. So all the time that I was talking, you would have just been breathing naturally without thinking about it, because we weren't doing any breath exercises. So you were just allowing yourself to breathe without thinking. So now just notice how that breathing was. And often when we bring our attention here, we start to try and breathe a certain way. Don't do that. Don't change anything. Just allow yourself to breathe normally. And notice it. And there's lots of little things to notice about your breath. It can be whether it feels big or small, shallow or deep. It might be uneven in that you might breathe in more and out less, or breathe in less and out more. Or it might be that both sides, the in and the out breath, are completely the same length. None of it matters right now. I just want you to notice what it is. Are you aware of any breath coming into your belly? Or is it just staying up high in the chest? We're going to take our awareness to the body. I'm going to isolate the parts, and I'm going to talk you through it. I'm going to mention various parts of your body. And all I want you to do is just bring your attention to that part of the body as I mention it. So you don't have to do anything with that part. You just bring your attention there. And you're just going to feel or get a sense of feeling that part of your body without really moving it. So let's just start off with the heel on your right foot. Just take your attention there, and almost as if you can feel the heel from the inside. And then to the middle arch of your right foot. And your right ankle. Maybe softening the ankle a little bit. There's so many little muscles around the ankle that maybe you can let go of. And then take your awareness to your right big toe. And then your second toe, the third toe, the fourth toe, and the little toe. And then the skin on top of your foot. And then just moving up the right leg, take your attention to your right calf. Heavy. And the right shin bone. And the skin on the shin bone. Your right knee, so below the knee, above the knee, behind the knee, and inside that kneecap, so lots of little tendons and ligaments and muscles that you can release. And then we're just going to flip over to the left side. So take your attention to your left heel, the middle arch of your left foot, your left big toe, the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and the little toe, and the skin on top of the left foot, and your left ankle. If you have any thoughts that come up while we're doing this body scan, just notice. Notice that you're having thoughts, and then bring yourself back. Take your awareness to your left calf muscle, heavy, and your left shin bone, skin on top, and then your left knee, below the knee, above the knee, behind the knee, inside the kneecap. And then bring your awareness to both of your hips, your sitting bones, supporting you as you sit, whether you're on a chair or a sofa or on the floor, wherever you are comfortable. Just gravity supporting you by putting most of the pressure onto your sitting bones as you sit there. And then just traveling up your spine. So take your attention to your sacrum right at the bottom of your spine. And then just do a mental trail from the bottom up the back, all the way right up to your neck, like a zip, as if you're zipping yourself up. And then from there, just taking your attention to your right shoulder, dropping it away from the right ear, your right upper arm, the muscles there, your right elbow, and your right wrist. Now, if you don't have your palms facing up, if you just turn your hands so they're facing up, and then take your attention to your right thumb. So try not to move the digits as I bring them up. So your awareness to your right thumb, your right index finger, your middle finger, and your fourth finger, and your little pinky finger. And then just bring your awareness to the skin on top of your hand, the palm of your hand. Any sensations that come up, might be a little bit of tingling, might not be anything, and that's fine. And then just hold that there, and we're going to come over to the left shoulder now. So allow that left shoulder just to drop a little bit away from the left ear. And then go down your left arm, your left upper arm. Your left elbow. And your left wrist. And then, as I mentioned, each of the fingers, try not to move them. Starting with your left thumb. Your left forefinger. The middle finger. The fourth finger. And the little one. And then bring your attention to the skin on the palm of your hand. And just notice both hands. Just see if you can feel both of them. Any sensations that come up at all. It might just be them resting on your lap or wherever you're sitting. Or you might feel a little bit of tingling, just a little bit, maybe, maybe not. And then I'm going to take the attention back to the top of the neck where we left off before. And just tracing over the back of your head, right up to the crown of your head, so on top of your head. I want you to imagine that somebody's just gently tapping on the top of your head, so you can get an idea of how that feels. And then they stop tapping and just take their hand away, but you can still feel where their fingers were. So you get a really good sense of feeling the crown of your head from the inside out. And then just going over the front of your head, down your forehead, relaxing the muscles there. between your eyebrows, your eyelids heavy, and the eyeballs just dropping into the sockets, really, really heavy there. And then your jawline. Allow your jaw just to relax. Maybe the tongue is sitting in the lower palate. And now I just want you to take your attention behind your eyelids. And whatever comes up there, just looking at that, not judging it, just accepting whatever you see behind your eyes. And still keeping a little consciousness on the body just as it softens here. Any sensations that come up as you're doing the rest of your meditation, just noticing them. And again, if your thoughts tend to come in or you get a little bit distracted, just be happy that you noticed and you bring yourself back to this space behind your eyes. I'm just going to do some counting. So we're going to do some conscious breathing. And we're going to count in for 5. Then we're going to hold the breath for 5. And then we're going to breathe out for about 8. And what I want you to do is on every out breath, and I will count you in and out, but on every out breath, I want you to see if you can physically soften your body. Just allow your whole body to melt. All right, so we'll start together and I will count you in, but just before we start, get rid of all of your breath. So even if you just breathe out some more, push it out. And then inhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let that go. Take a normal breath in and out. And then start again. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let it go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take normal in and out. One more time. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let it go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just breathe normally here. Take your attention to the back of your eyelids. And as you're breathing normally now with no counting, on your every out breath, just imagine melting a little bit more. So scan the body for anywhere that you might be holding on to any tension. Could be in your ankle or in your knees, anywhere at all. I'm just going to be here for a few moments because I want you to use this empty time for noticing. So what you're doing is you're just noticing your in and out breath. You're noticing if you can just soften on every out breath. It doesn't have to be big breaths. You don't have to breathe deeply or anything like that. You can keep it really shallow, however you're breathing now in this recovery breath. Just keep that. But see if with that out breath you can just soften more and more with every one. Notice the sensations in your body, if they change or become more evident. And also notice that you're noticing. So you're kind of stepping back from yourself and you're noticing. So if you get those thoughts coming in, which they probably will, notice if you get attached to the narrative or if you're able to just go, oh, okay, there's a thought. Or even if you notice that you were away in a little bit of a dream and then you go, oh, I'm meditating, come back to that. That's also fine. It's the noticing that counts. So I'm not going to say anything just for a couple of minutes, actually. I'm just going to let you freestyle for a couple of minutes and see how you go. Just remember to keep noticing if you get any distractions or any noises. Sounds are really great little challenges because that's the one thing that will be happening every time you meditate. You will hear sounds. And it's the same idea, not getting attached to what the sounds mean or even allowing yourself to get triggered by the sounds. If you notice that you're getting triggered, step back and go, oh, okay. I reacted in a certain way. I didn't need to. It's just a sound. I can just come back to my meditation. It doesn't interrupt anything. I'm still here. So use it as a tool for learning. Now, if you're not there already, actually that was about 3 minutes. I left you there a little bit longer. So well done if you managed to keep noticing in that time. So come back to behind your eyelids. And I want to leave you with a really nice feel-good meditation. And I want you to choose a positive affirmation. So just think of a word that you would like for the rest of your day. If you're struggling with trying to understand something, it might be clarity. If you're feeling a bit down, it might be happy. If you're feeling anxious, it might be calm. If you're feeling a little bit worried about your health, it might be healthy. Whatever springs to mind. Happy is a nice one. It kind of covers a lot of bases. Whatever it is that you choose to be your word, I want you just to start off by just saying the word in your mind. So if it's happy, for example, just be like happy, happy. And as you repeat the word in your mind, I want you to try and imbue some of that feeling so you know what it feels like to feel happy or calm or clear, whatever it might be, and try and bring in the feeling with the word. So really try and feel the word. So you can keep your gaze behind your eyelids as you do this. There's always a really nice home page behind your eyelids. And then just whenever you're ready, you just start with that word, breathing in that word and letting it fill you. Feeling the joy or the serenity that it brings. You don't need to remember an event. You know what it feels like to feel that. You felt it at some time in your past. Just bring in that feeling. It's not associated with anything, it's just a feeling. It also helps to smile a little. You know, if you're sitting on your own, you don't mind doing that so much. It's good to smile. It's really nice, and it really helps when you smile. It kind of kickstarts the physiological response as well. So breathing in a word, a little bit of a smile. And then I want you to stick a little I am before the word. And then keep breathing it in. I am, whatever the word is. Fill yourself up with that. And I'm going to let you stay there as long as you want. I'm going to end the session now so that you've got the chance to just stay as long as you like. It doesn't matter whether I'm here or not. If you're feeling good and you're feeling nice and relaxed and you want to keep breathing in that affirmation, breathe it in as long as you want. So you can finish the meditation whenever you want. Just always do it very mindfully and slowly and bring yourself out of it in a nice, gentle way.